Okay, go for it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Delaterre Permaculture Farm. I'm Donna Isaacs, and I'm here with my partner, Will and Bro. And this morning, we're going to do a quick update on our Azolla project. We planted Azolla, we distributed Azolla 2 weeks ago. Today is 14 days since we did it. And so we are going to give you a quick update as to where our Azolla is and some of the things that we have noticed. So the first thing is that this container of Azolla has died, totally died. And the reason for that, at least what we think is the reason for that, is that this was the container that we used to add the pig manure and it was composted, but this had all of the fertility in there. And one of the things that you need to be careful of with Azolla is too much fertility is not necessarily a good thing. It can uh, kill your Azolla. So you do not want your moisture, your water, your pond to be too fertile, because not only will it not grow, it can die. The other thing, we did two sets. We did our 7 in cowlick containers, and these were in the shade over here. And that was because on the internet, we get a lot of things about Azolla does not like too much sunshine. They like partial shade. Well, we're in Louisiana. I was worried about that. So these were put inside under the shelter, and we had those out in full sun. I will tell you now that full sun at this time of year does a lot better. So we're well into the fall. We haven't had a killing frost yet. And I'm hoping that we can get to a certain point with our Azolla before we do that. Um, but the ones that got more sunshine did way better than the ones that didn't get a lot of sunshine. And so even though this is inside under the shed, it still gets quite a bit of sunshine, and you can see from the top down, you have more growth on the top, less on the bottom. So at this time of year, and I would say again in the spring. Now, this one got a fair amount of sunshine, not a whole lot, but these didn't, and you can see they did not duplicate as well. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take these and add them to the 7 in the sun so that they grow more. But here we go. So these are the 7 cowlick containers in the sun. And this is my daily task, is to take leaves from our pecan tree out of these containers. But as you can see, the Azolla in 2 weeks has pretty much covered the top of the cowlick container. So really excited about that. Um, we're getting very close to full coverage. And basically, folks have said in about 4 weeks, you should be able to start harvesting your Azolla. So we are looking forward to that. Now, I did not distribute the Azolla evenly. I didn't weigh it. I am not doing that type of science experiment. So these are not necessarily evenly distributed. And that's why we'll just take the other ones and add them to this, so that the 7 cowlick containers will definitely grow faster. And we'll be able to fill them up and start harvesting in a couple weeks. So, how do we get the Azolla out? Well, I'm just using a strainer. Um, you know, different people, when you get bigger to a bigger scale, you may want to do something differently. But right now, we're just using a strainer to pick up the Azolla. And this is what you would do to harvest it as well, is you're just trying to get the Azolla out of the container. And then when you do, what you can do is, in our case, because we're going to put it into one of our cowlet containers, is just basically put it in there like that and try not to take out what's in there.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, definitely easier said than done. You're going to lose a little in the process.
So we're in that time of the year. This is the end of October. So our highs and lows are going from like upper 70s to the 50s right now. So that's going to have some effect on the growth rate of the Azolla. It's still in their good range, their comfortable range, but the idea being in the warm seasons, these things will just be supercharged and grow like crazy.
And actually, spring and fall, you get the best growth after 90 degrees, which, this is Louisiana, and we'll hit that 100 and something in July and August. Well, after that, that's where shade will really help, because it really slows down. It slows down on the lower temperatures, and then it slows down on the higher temperatures. And Will is laughing at me because I am having myself a time here trying to get this out.
What's wrong?
um,
Every time you put some in, you take some back.
Yep, that is true.
Okay,
but
that's the moving around. And then we need to go check on the
pond and see how
that's doing.
Yes, we do, because we didn't put a whole lot of Azolla in there, and we have a lot of wildlife around on the farm. And we farm in a way that we can have a lot of wildlife. That's a big part of creating diversity on the farm. So we're not complaining about the wildlife, but they love Azolla. Everybody loves Azolla. So we will see what we have over there. I have watched other projects where they've put in several kilograms of Azolla to seed a pond. We only put in half a pound, which is way less than 1 kilogram. So it's going to be interesting.
It's stuck.
Yeah. To see how the Azolla does over there. And we may have to wait until we grow this out and then put in a much larger amount over there. But so far, really excited about the Azolla project and where it's going and how fast it's growing. And we'll see. We'll give you another update in another 2 weeks when we should be ready to start farming our Azolla. And I do have a little additional water with fermented compost sitting to add to these containers as it goes down. Um, but right now, I think I am just going to let it keep growing. I like the pace it's growing at. They say you can add a little every 2 to 3 weeks. So I will let it float for one more week and then maybe add a little bit to top it off. All right, so we're heading to the pond now.
All right.
Okay, so we're by the pond now, and this is really interesting. I threw it into the middle of the pond, but where we're seeing it is on the edges and floating on the pine needles that is here. Now, it is going to take a lot more to really get this going. And as Waylon suggested, maybe we wait until the spring to see how it comes in. If you look over there under those aquatic plants, you will see the Azolla on the surface of the water floating. Um,
Barely make it out. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it.
You can see it, right? So it has sort of moved to the perimeter of the pond and it's floating and it's still here after 2 weeks, which means wildlife has not eaten all of the Azolla. It's going to be very interesting. One of the things that we plan to do is we have a little berm and we're going to build it up so that we can actually collect more water in this pond because we really want to use this pond as sort of our Azolla maintenance. You know, we can seed other ponds from this location. So we will be making some man-made ponds next year to grow Azolla in, but we hope to have this natural habitat to maintain the Azolla year round. Now, Azolla is going to go dormant in the winter. When it gets below a certain temperature, it turns into little balls and falls to the bottom, and then it should regrow in the spring. So we are anticipating that cycle, and we're hoping that it will come back next year. We're really excited to see how this is turning out.
Okay.
So thanks all for watching us. And like and subscribe. We will share our crazy farm journey with you as we work to build more sustainability and resilience into our farming plan.